So you're coming to Thailand and you don't know how long you're gonna stay, and your funds are tight. Okay, and you don't want to buy a return ticket because, oh my God, return tickets are so expensive. Cool, I get it, I understand it. So let's talk about how you can get around that, especially if time to return is unknown. So let's get this straight. Pretty much most, if not all countries, but most countries want to see some kind of exit arrangement from their country, and they'll only stamp your visa for a certain amount of time. For example, in Thailand, it's usually 30 days without a visa, 60 days if you have one. Example, in Japan, it's 90 days, depending on which country you're coming from. You have a specified limited amount of time. At the immigration, when you reach to that country, there's a chance that immigration will ask you when you're leaving, and some won't. It depends on who it is, what date it is, how crowded the place is. Some people won't, some people will ask you. But generally, before you leave, like when you're checking in at the airport in your home country or in the last flight before you get into Thailand, that person will ask you, hey, where is your return ticket? Now, there are some people that will come in the comments and say, oh, nobody ever asked me. I've been coming for years and nobody ever asked me. Good. Okay, I've been coming for years too. I live here, and the last time I was coming into Thailand, they never asked me before in all these years. And now somebody actually asked me, gave me a hard time, took me around the back. What are you doing here and everything? You know, luckily I have a long-term visa, so it wasn't a huge problem. So what do? Don't know when you're coming back. So the first thing you should do is to buy a one-way ticket to Thailand. Now, it may sound like it's going contrary to what I said before, but let me explain. So you buy the one-way ticket, and depending on whether or not you are going to have a visa or not, let's say you don't have a visa, so you're only limited to 30 days. You need to buy now a cheap ticket from Thailand. Let's say Vietnam, Cambodia, Japan, Indonesia, whichever country you like, just a cheap one-way ticket as well. And that's probably going to cost you less than $100 US. And you buy that one-way ticket less than 30 days before your visa expires when you get to Thailand. Or in the case of a 60-day visa, less than 60 days before your visa expires from Thailand. So you're only paying for the one-way trip, and then you pay for that ticket to go to the other country, which you will probably never use. All right, so you're there in Thailand, enjoying yourself, looking at the lady boys, blah, blah, blah. And you say, okay, my 30 days are up. What do I do? So what you do, you get an extension, 30-day extension in Thailand while you're here. So you're 60 days now, and coming up to 60 days, now you have to actually leave Thailand. So one of the things that you can do is get a border run, which is going to a land border. That's why we call it a border run. And you take like a little minibus, goes to the border, drives you into Cambodia, stamps you, drive back in. You can only do that 2 times per year. So it's not an ideal situation. So now you buy a return ticket, let's say to Vietnam, Indonesia, whatever country you like, you want to stay in. And you buy that return ticket, go to that country, spend like a few days, a week, whatever, enjoy yourself. And before you return to Thailand, now you have to buy another ticket again that is going to exit Thailand within 30 days if you don't have a visa. If you're getting a visa in the new country that you're going to, then of course within 60 days. So every time you're entering some country, you have to have a ticket that takes you back out of the country. It doesn't matter where you're going to. That's the key to it. You got to have that ticket. You got to be able to show it to whichever country you're going to. Let's say you're going to Vietnam, for example, and you're checking in at the airport in Thailand. Now, the people checking you in are going to want to see a return ticket out of Vietnam within the terms of your visa to Vietnam. So whether you have a 30-day visa to Vietnam or you don't have a visa, let's say you're from Germany and you're spending 30 days in Vietnam, then you have to have a return ticket to show them when you're booking. They'll just bring it up on the computer and see that, oh yes, this person is going to leave Vietnam within those 30 days or within those 90 days, whichever kind of visa you had for Vietnam. So always have a ticket that shows you're leaving that country by that date before your visa expires. That's the key to long-term travel within Asia and pretty much all over the world, come to think about it. Let's say, for example, I remember my daughter was going to Jamaica, and it's because I'm Jamaican by birth and she has a Jamaican father. I thought that she could just go to Jamaica and stay as long as she wants. No, they actually detained her at the immigration at the airport and called me, and I had to go and beg on her behalf. And the person said, okay, next time get her passport stamped because she has a Jamaican father. And so this rule exists all over the world, maybe not except the United States, for example. They don't really do that. Or you can just come and overstay as much as you want, but that's another video. So you gotta have that return flight to show in Asia. They're pretty strict about it. Don't play around with it, guys. Sometimes you might get away with it, and sometimes not. You might get pulled around to the back and sat down and say, hey, what are you doing in the country? Why don't you have an exit ticket? And I heard some people actually have to buy an exit ticket on the spot before they will be accepted to enter into Thailand. So that can happen too. So there are a lot of arguments online about you can do this doesn't happen, whatever. I like to play it safe. I don't like to have any problems in my life. An exit ticket is pretty cheap if you're traveling around the place, and you can do that. So make sure you have that. And then now you've stayed in Thailand, you've been here for a year, you've been here for 6 months, 3 months, whatever the case may be. And now you finally want to go home. This is the time now you can buy that one-way ticket to go back home. Just to summarize this whole video, in the beginning, you buy a one-way ticket to Thailand and then a cheap ticket that takes you out of Thailand within the dates of your visa. Okay, and it depends on what country you're from, how long the initial stamp is going to be for. So if you want to make a good plan for Thailand, you can contact us on the website at thaicrew.com. Become our customer. If you have any questions, you can go to the website and click on that button that says Ask Thai Crew. 24 hours, we're going to be able to answer any questions for you. Okay, so see you next time, guys, and have fun. Safe travels.